Okay, this will be my final lecture about the syllabus material, and I wanted to talk about this extra credit opportunity. I have really hovered over making it time sensitive to try and get you to watch these discovering psychology videos as we go. But I mean, I understand that people have tough schedules, and a lot of times we take online classes so that we can fit a class into the few moments we have per day to get something else done. And so I decided not to make it time sensitive. I'm just really trying to encourage you to watch the Discovering Psychology videos by giving you the opportunity to earn extra credit for watching up to 5 of the videos and asking a question and then answering it yourself based on material from the text. So for each question, you tell me why you asked the question about the video. Like sometimes Zimbardo has like a northeastern accent, so sometimes he pronounces the words oddly, or maybe he was vague in his description, or he used a term that you've never heard before, or something like that. Maybe sometimes with the videos he will talk about something that we haven't gotten to yet, so maybe that's why you asked the question. But so tell me why you asked the question, and then find information from the Myers text that will help you to answer your own question. And make sure you give me page numbers, and I don't want you to go look it up on the internet. I want you to find Myers' answer to the question. So what should hopefully happen is you'll watch the video, and then as you're reading the Myers text, you'll find the answer to any question that popped into your head about that video, and this should be a pretty simple process for you. Each question and answer will be worth 5 points of extra credit, up to a total of 25 extra credit points for doing 5 different videos. The deadline that I've set is the same day that midterm 2 is due, which is the last day of the online quarter. This quarter, it's December 4th. So if you want to do it, I just clicked on the link earlier to launch the webpage that has the videos on it. And what you'll see is this nice little list. All these videos are approximately 23 minutes long. When I was in graduate school, I used to get up on Saturdays to actually watch this series because it was so well done. I mean, he does such a good job with it. And so the topic is here. To watch the video, you actually click on the button that says VOD for Video on Demand. And the trick is it wants to launch in a pop-up window. And so make sure that you have allowed pop-ups for this particular website, and then you'll be able to watch the video. So that's my advice, is to watch these anyway, and then you can get 25 extra credit points to help, cushion your test performance and things like that. It's a nice little opportunity to have some extra points for doing something that hopefully you're going to want to do anyway. Like I said, I understand that you guys have time constraints on you. And sometimes, I know as a student myself, I had to work 32 hours a week, and I had to commute 20 miles each way to get to my campus. And this was in Orange County, California traffic, and it was just hectic. And, I really didn't have a lot of free time. And so a lot of times what I sacrificed was reading. I'd always attend my lectures. I did all the stuff I was supposed to do, but if something fell by the wayside, it was usually reading the text. And I'm, kind of ashamed to say that. My daughter, for some reason, is a really great studier. She reads her books sometimes 3 times before the exam. I'm like, man, you're crazy. How do you do that? And some of you might be that kind of awesome student who can really study and really do a good job with it. Sometimes you have to sacrifice things, and if you do have to sacrifice reading, you can substitute a lot of the content from the reading through my PowerPoint lectures combined with the Zimbardo videos, the Discovering Psychology videos. They're like truncated versions, and it's kind of easier to listen and watch stuff than it is to read sometimes. So, I mean, if you have to sacrifice something, I would sacrifice the book. I know that sounds crazy because all of our test questions are based on the book, but I mean, if you're not going to get through the whole thing anyway, your limited time might be better served with the lectures and the videos than they would be if you're going to only get through part of the reading anyway. That's all I'm saying. If you have the wherewithal and the tenacity to read and do the other ancillary things, that's awesome. But if you have limited times, you have to sacrifice something. The Discovering Psychology videos are the most comprehensive and truncated part. And then I expand a little bit beyond that in my PowerPoints, and then the Myers text expands beyond that. Okay, now I wanted to spend a second talking about academic integrity, because if I didn't make myself clear enough on deadlines, I'm really a stickler on deadlines. And then the other thing I'm really a stickler on is academic integrity. Part of why I abandoned discussions as a requirement is because I was catching a lot of students in plagiarism that, you know, they felt that they were defending themselves on that, you know, well, I just said the same thing that the other person said and used the exact same examples, but I wasn't copying. You know, like, I don't want to have this relationship with my students where, you know, because you don't want to be doing the task, you just cheat on it. I didn't want to be setting people up to have to do that. So I've removed the requirement to discuss, and so hopefully only those of you who really want to discuss will do that. Where people tend to cheat now is on the quizzes, the midterms. I described in the midterm lecture a cheating situation that I experienced. And then also they try and cheat out on the psych sims and not do their full work and stuff like that. That's why I have you putting your name and so on, trying to make it harder to cheat. If I detect that there is any kind of cheating going on, like I detected last summer, I reported it to the Dean of Academic Education. I let them know that this student has this anomaly, and you can do with it what you wish. If I have here's the sequence of events if I detect cheating. If I notice on a project, for example, that you have copied and pasted off of a web page, on the first offense I will let you know that you need to not be copying and pasting off of the website. I have told you this already in my academic integrity piece on the syllabus, and therefore first offense, you get a 0 on the assignment. Your warning is here on the syllabus, so if you do it, then you get a 0 on the assignment. If you do it again, then you end up failing the entire class. So, and you know, I report you. So do your own work. I've given you all the tools that you need to be able to do your own work. I try to make sure that the assignments are well within a reasonable amount of time to devote to the class. So there is really no excuse. The cheating on the quizzes, here's the difference between cheating and working with classmates to study. Cheating would be, I will take quiz 1, get my feedback, give it to you so that you can take quiz 1 and get 100%. You'll take quiz 2, give me your feedback so that I can take quiz 2 and get 100%. Across the quarter, we'll have, you know, half of our tests will have 100% on. Well, I've set it up so that you can't do that anymore because I caught people doing that. But that's an example of cheating. Another example of cheating would be, I'll look up all the answers to the first 5 questions on quiz 1. You look up the next 5. Friend C over here will look up the next 5, and so on. Then we'll all get together and we'll exchange answers. Then none of us have to do the full reading in the text. That's cheating. Working together, studying together would be things like, okay, so I can't find the answer to number 3. Does anybody know what page it's on so I can at least try and find it? That's called studying together. And I encourage you to post those kinds of questions in the student lounge area. There's nothing wrong with that kind of question. There's nothing wrong with saying, I found it on page 68 under the header hindsight bias. That's a perfectly good response. A cheating response would be, oh, I found that, that's D. That's cheating. So you can kind of see the difference between, you know, like working together, helping a person to reason it out for themselves versus let's just exchange answers. So be careful, but I really do encourage people to study together. I didn't start studying with classmates until I was a senior in college. And when I realized how much better I learned the material once I started studying with other people, I was kicking myself for not having taken advantage of study groups in the years prior. Bouncing it off, having to explain it to somebody else really does encourage you to encode the material in a way that you wouldn't otherwise. Okay, here's the grading criteria on the left, which shows you the points values for each different assignment, and then what percentage each assignment contributes to your overall grade in the class. So you can kind of weigh it out and figure out, okay, if I have to miss a quiz, how much is that going to overall dock my grade? If you have to miss a quiz, you end up losing 2.5% across the entire class. So you know, you can kind of weigh it out and realize that it's not going to kill your grade to miss an assignment, but if you start missing several, then you're going to be sorry. And then here's the grading palette, so that at the end you see how I assign grades. An A is 94% and above, and A minus would be up to, you know, 93.9% would be an A minus. Now I round up like normal rounding does. So 94 is really 93.5 and above. 93 is really 93.4 and below. So, you know, I use normal rounding procedures to determine grades. I think I've got everything set correctly in the grade book, so you probably shouldn't have to double check your Canvas grade computation. But there have been some whack things that I've seen in that grade computation. Like I saw a student who had 100%, 100%, and 0%, and the category said that she had 100%. And it's like, how'd that work out? So if you see anything weird like that, then go ahead and do this hand calculation. Add up the total points that you've earned so far and divide it by the total points possible so far in the class. Then multiply that result by 100 and you'll get a percentage. So that's a really quick and easy way to, you know, compute it yourself. On the extra credit, I made it worth 0 points in the grade book so that it's extra credit, because Canvas doesn't have a setting for extra credit. And so your category, even once you've got points entered, will say 0% because it's out of 0. But the points are really being added into your total. It's all very confusing, but it works out in the end. And I double check it with Excel in the end. So I'll make sure that your grades are correct. Now, hopefully nobody will be in one of these situations, but I have included my incomplete and hardship withdrawal criteria. You need to focus, if you're thinking about needing to get out of the class, after the natural withdrawal period. You know, there's a deadline for withdrawal with no consequences. You don't need my approval if you withdraw by that date. If it's after that date when you make the decision that you want out of the class, now you're looking at a hardship withdrawal if you just want out, you never want to take the class again. Or an incomplete is if you've got most of the class done and you just need more time to do the last, you know, like the midterm is all that's missing or something like that. What I want you to notice is the part that I put in bright red here. You need to be passing the class at the time that you make the request to me if you want a hardship withdrawal or an incomplete, because failing the class is not what constitutes really a hardship. A hardship, I have these things defined very specifically under these qualifying circumstances. And I rarely give these grades, but I have given them. Usually hardships, I have only done, in 20 years of teaching, I've maybe given 2 incompletes. Usually I give hardships, if I give anything. And in fact, with hardships, I've given probably 4 hardships in the past 20 years. So, all right. So now the last thing that's on the syllabus as far as content is, again, trying to encourage you to open up your book, watch the videos. I mean, I picked this text very carefully. It's the most popular introductory psychology textbook. It's actually the shortened version of the most popular one. The most popular one's actually the full version. But this one is really well written. He's an excellent educator. He writes really well. The Discovering Psychology videos are just, I cannot say anything too, you know, superlative about it. They're awesome. And then I gotta admit, I've earned a lot of teaching awards in my in-person classes, and so I tried to bring that to my online lectures. So listen to my PowerPoints and see if they don't help you out. All right, and then the last thing here on the syllabus, before we get down to the part I've shown you before regarding texts, is your reading assignments. And so I've broken, like I said before, the quarter into weeks. I've given you the date span for each week, and then your reading assignment, your video assignments. So like this is a heavy week where you have, week 1's a heavy week where you have 4, you're covering 2 chapters, there are 4 videos that apply. You know, next week in week 2 you only have 1 chapter and 1 video. So you'll notice some weeks we have a lot of videos, 4 videos. Chapter 9, it used to be 3 separate chapters in the Myers text, but he's combined them into 1. So there's really 4 big concepts going on in that chapter. So that's your video assignments. They're all found at that same you know, Discovering Psychology video link. And then here's the assignments that are due and what day of the week they're all due and so on. So if you print nothing else, this little calendar thing will help you out a lot. I really recommend that you bookmark your school's direct link to the Canvas webpage so that you never have trouble with the webpage going down at your school. So I've given you the direct links. I think that pretty much covers everything on the syllabus. So, you know, if you have any questions, please feel free to email me. You know, let's face it, going over a syllabus is not the most fun, friendly conversation. This is basically a legal contract between you and me. This is like, I am telling you what I expect and what the rules are and how firmly I'll stand behind the rules. But I don't want you to think that you can't be emailing me. I love to come in and find the little number next to the inbox. It's like, yay, people have something to say to me. And then when I find out it's a comment from a project, I'm like, oh, no. Email me. I email a lot. I send out a lot of messages. I really try and encourage you guys as the quarter is going on. If we look at my little inbox, you'll notice I use a lot of yays of encouragement because I really love psychology and I really love teaching psychology. So please use me as a resource. If you're having trouble, don't be embarrassed if you ask me something that I've already, you know, answered. See, class is over, yay! You know, I really want to encourage you. And you might have noticed on this second message to her, I have a link to a test anxiety document. If you suffer from test anxiety, let me know and I will send you a set of exercises that you can do that might help you out with that. Because I don't want you to feel anxious and then not do as well in an exam as you could. So hopefully that explains everything, and hopefully I haven't scared you away from me or anything. Please feel free to text me. I think you'll find my personality comes out more in my lectures, and you'll hear my dog barking in the background. There's something about going in my office and shutting the door that makes that dog think it's time to bark. I don't know what that is. But anyway, so you'll hear from me again as the quarter goes on, and please let me hear from you. All right.